gentlemen, I proudly welcome you to Marley State of Mind. You know what the fuck it is. You know what time it is, motherfucker. Let's go. It's a motherfucking podcast. Yeah, it's a motherfucking podcast. Hey, it's a goddamn podcast. Yeah, it's a motherfucking podcast, bitch. Yeah, it's a podcast, bitch. It's a goddamn podcast.
What up? What up? What up? Welcome to the world's dopest podcast, Marley State of Mind. You know, we down here at a bunch of Bull Studios as per usual. This week, we're doing something a little bit different. We got my man, AK Wright, if you will, with us tonight. And he's a visual artist, and he's still trying to step into that terminology, that title, visual artist. And we're going to get into that a little bit. How you feeling tonight, bro?
I'm feeling good, man. Like I told you off air, I was a fan before this happened. I'm still be a fan. I still bump Rugrats to this day, which I'm actually kind of mad at Spotify. Like, just to sidestep this a little bit, when they did the recap, like they sent out to everybody, I know for a fact I bump Rugrats way more than they give me credit for. And I love you need to like hit up Spotify and be like, hey, my numbers probably need to be upped a little bit because there's this dude all the way out in Beaver County that was bumping it on repeat for a solid grip this year. So you might have to have some conversations. That's all I'll say.
It's a conversation that need to be had for sure.
Definitely.
For surely. No, I appreciate that. Sincerely, bro. I appreciate that.
Definitely.
But we're definitely gonna get into your journey. Talk about a little bit of what you did, and I usually like to start this off by saying how I was introduced to the artist or how I come to find artists, and this one's no different. You and I actually linked. I did a performance down Lexa Terrestrial's birthday party, and you were there in the building. It was a good vibe.
Yeah,
a lot of good people in the building. We kind of connected from there, and then I started seeing some of your artwork, some of the stuff that you were doing. And I was like, man, this shit's dope as hell. It's mind blowing.
Thank you, bro.
Some of the things that you were doing, and I was really impressed. And I'm one who just appreciates, life and the beauty of, and artwork too. You know what I mean? And cats who put their heart into it. And I see, that's what you're about. So I definitely want to bring you on to share that with the people.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. And shout out really quick to Lexa. She's one of the strongest women I know. So if you don't know her whole story, she is a warrior out here, very inspirational. She is definitely one that was dealt a rough hand, but she keeps battling through. So I just had to sidestep and give her rose as well. She can hear them. So definitely shout out to her. But yeah, with my story, like I said, when we linked up, I was about halfway through am I feeling like I'm confident with this shit, or should I just stop and go back in the corner and try to redo this? So when you met me, like I said, I was kind of knee deep in it, but the confidence level wasn't there like I was hoping for. So like I told you briefly when we came on the air, I definitely have fully embraced this. It's still hard when people say, oh, he's an artist, because like I told you off air, for the longest time, I always equated myself as a writer. So I was a writer of screenplays, novels, short stories, which I still am, don't get it misconstrued. Absolutely. But I feel I'm just as impactful with the visual medium that I somewhat fell into, which I'll gladly get into here in a moment, how this even happened. This wasn't something that was never a passion of mine even 10 years ago, let alone the last couple.
That's great. Yeah.
Like I told people, before, if you held a gun in my head and told me draw a tree, I'm checking out. Like, there is nothing plausible. It's a wrap. Like, that shit's gonna be upside down. It's gonna be pink. I'm not even saying that to be jokingly. Like, I literally cannot fully comprehend and draw something, which blows a lot of people's minds when you see like the kind of sculptures that I've made.
Right.
Okay, it's great that you can make it. Can you draw it? No.
What was it that changed your confidence that made you step out and understand really, what you had? What brought you that confidence?
A few things. The main thing that I think brought me the confidence is I still keep going with it. Right. That's one thing that I think is our main driving force. Like I said, with most of my sculptures that I do, I always have the mindset, even if I absolutely am not a fan of how this is looking or the color of it, or I feel like I totally wasted my time, at least finish it. because that's what we all drive through. And like I, was kind of telling you a little bit before, I have no idea what my impact with this will be, but I know it's something that people in even in small spaces feel invested in.
Right.
Like every time that I make a sculpture and I say this is the work in progress, I do get messages. Oh man, I can't wait to see what this looks like. I can't wait to see it's done. I can't wait to see how you do this, that. Like it's a little bit overwhelming. Like I'm not saying that to be, braggadocious, but that's the
No,
first
absolutely.
time with myself that I've ever seen something like that. So
What
that's
was that validation when you started seeing it from other people? Did that help spur you on to be more aggressive in your approach to really put yourself out there?
100%, 100%. Because actually, I'm glad that you brought it up that way. So, with me, I always feel I am the odd person out, no matter what room I'm in. I'm
Right.
just naturally, I don't fit in a certain box. So, growing up with the black people, I was never black enough, whatever the fuck that means, to be
Hmm.
with that lane. Obviously, with the white side, oh, you are way too tan of a complexion to socialize with a lot of us have going on. So I
Right.
was literally the gray Jedi just walking through life. I never had a clan of
So,
my own. I never had a person like a lane to go in. And that caused a lot of social anxiety for myself because I always felt like I had my head on a swivel a lot. And
yeah.
I was scared to embrace like how I am as a person. With my art, a lot of my art, like you've seen, and I'll gladly share some on camera,
Hell
for a
yeah.
lot of people. I make a lot of weird shit. I'm not gonna just put it any other way. Like some of it is a little bit more macabre, a lot of it is more supernatural, creature like. And I'm not gonna lie. When I first started putting it out, I was waiting for people to hit me up. Hey, you good? You good? Do we need to do the wellness check?
Right.
Do you need some time away? Do you need us to take
Yeah.
care of your dog? Like, and it didn't. And just seeing the spur on effect of people actually appreciating and liking the characters that I made, especially with my YouTube channel. It's Mind of AK for anyone who wants to go to subscribe
Yeah.
to it.
Hell yeah. Do that.
Um, Definitely, I appreciate if you can. A lot of them, I have stories that are stylized with it where you can hear the audio in the background while I'm making some aspect of the character or the story being told.
Oh, that's
And the
dope.
response that I get from that, it's like, oh, y'all like weird shit now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Hey, I am what I am, like the picture in the background. 20 years ago, I'd be afraid to ask the artist, which shout out to Courtney Line. She's on Instagram, Courtistry. She did that for me and record timing. She was a warrior with that. So shout out to her for making that. Again,
Yeah.
I
I
can't
really like that piece. Are those based off of actual sculptures of yours?
every sculpture there is I made it. Yep.
Wow.
Yep, every one of those. And the funny thing about that, when we did, like when I hit her up to ask it, so there's a meme that I saw. It was a Kurt Cobain one. It's actually a similar song lyric to that, where he's sitting on an amplifier with a whole bunch of puppets around him. And
Mm.
I'm a Jim Henson mark. I will tell everyone Muppets all day. Out of way here, nothing about Kermit the Frog ain't shit. I will throw hands with anybody. That's what I was. That's what I grew up on.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And I hit her up and I said, "Hey, can you do something like this? I'm not trying to really monetize it. Might be putting like a t-shirt or whatever, but just for me to have in my studio, just as a calling card. Look, this is what I'm
So you
going.
have that as an actual piece.
Yeah, yeah, it's right.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah. So when she asked me to do that, she said, "Okay, if I'm gonna do this, I can't do just random characters. I need you to send me the shots of the ones that mean the most to you." And I
Wow.
went, "Oh, damn, you didn't have to do that to me." Like,
Wow.
because
Yeah.
I have so many of them at this point now. But she said, I need you to narrow it down to at least 13. So that way I know how to position them and all of that. So the ones in that photo are the ones that I made that I hold the most dearest to me because especially the one that I'm holding in the shot, that's the first one that I made to go to your question a few moments ago where I felt like I have something here. It was that
Yeah.
one, it was
Very dope.
that. And then that one spurred all the other ones around it. So,
Damn,
um,
you definitely gave us a lot of content in that and to build on because there's a lot going on in that picture and she definitely captured it
yeah,
very
man.
very well.
Yeah, and when she would send me what they call the daily, so it's like, hey, this is what I'm doing right now. If you want me to stop, if you're not liking it, let me know. And I literally would just send her this same revolving meme of someone doing a cartwheel. I can't physically do cartwheels. I wish I could, but it was like literally me doing a cartwheel, and as long as she got that, she knows she can keep going. I have to say shit else.
Yeah, man,
And
she did a remarkable job.
absolutely. If you have Instagram, which I know everybody does, it's Courtistry, Couristry. She's amazing. She's based out of Missouri. Hell of an artist. Hell of an. I keep telling her to get out her own way too. You
Yeah.
know, shout out to her. But like, to go back to the point that I was making with a lot of my pieces, I was realizing not necessarily okay, weird is in, but being unapologetically yourself
Self, yeah,
is
yeah.
something that is being more accepted now.
Mhm.
You know, like me, I'm a nerd. I am the one of the biggest nerds. I used to say all the time, I'm a writer first, nerd second, human third. That was my lane. And even during that time, I felt like I couldn't fully embrace it because I didn't know who I like my community, who I was, or who I was surrounding myself around.
You still felt like a loner at that point.
Exactly.
Do you feel like you have more of a sense of community now that you embrace yourself, now that you embrace your weird side, you embrace, all those things that you were ashamed of or you were afraid to expose?
To a sense, because I'm sensing that when a light that shines attracts like minds.
Mm,
That's
that's fire.
something
Say
I
that one more
wish.
time for me.
A light that shines attracts like minds.
Hell yeah.
So me being like myself, and I'm not saying that I'm the end all to be all. Please don't take that. I battle with imposter syndrome daily.
Right.
So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But anytime that I am sharing something, like for instance, I'll show you this right here. I made this a couple weeks ago. This is I call him my roommate.
Okay.
His name is Fuzzlewist, right? Now, the thing with Fuzzlewist, his arc is he's technically the first character that I made that was a bad idea. But for whatever reason, he keeps showing up and showing up and showing up and showing up.
You can't shake
Now,
him.
right. Now, if you look at
What
him,
up, Perp Boy? We see you. You
yeah.
see the Perp Boy
Now,
saying some
if you
sweatshirt.
look at him and look at me, I'm sure some people were like, "Oh, this man's motherfucking crazy." Like, what is this? But
That's fire.
on to your point, like how you just reacted, that's great.
Yeah.
5 years ago, I'm hiding out in a closet and only bringing it out like at Halloween and barely Halloween, right?
Yeah.
But just the influx of people. Hey, man, you got um as far as that, this, that, and the third. I like how you're doing this. I like how you're doing that.
Yeah.
Keep it up. And I can say that's inspiring because, like I was telling you off camera, you really don't know how people are going to react to your place on earth, right?
Right.
All you think you can hope for is you can inspire someone else. And that's mainly my goal. Do I want to get paid off of all of this? Absolutely. We all should get paid for what we feel we're worth.
Right.
But at the end of the cycle, I want to know that I either inspired somebody or I motivated somebody. That's my
Yeah.
whole goal. Like with being a creator, I think I line more with creator than artist, if I'm
Right.
being honest. But
Right.
the things that I'm hoping to create, it's not
Because
just
all of these things intertwine. It's not just the artwork, but you have the story, their characters. There's really life to these sculptures that you're making.
yeah,
That's fair to
exactly.
say. Yeah.
Exactly. That's very fair. Yeah, absolutely. And that's my thing. Like I have a good friend. His name is Dave. Shout out to Dave if you end up watching this. He messages me constantly. Hey, bro, I just want you to know my son really liked this video. Hey, I really like how this mask came out. I really like how this. And I can only tell you how many times I needed to hear that, especially at the time that he says it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, that's my whole motivation with, I keep struggling with this, bro. Art, as
Yeah.
far as what I make.
Is that a part of the imposter syndrome that you speak of? Is even
Yeah,
classifying yourself as an artist? Do you feel like
yeah.
that's kind of fraudulent?
Fraudulent because only 5 years into this, if I'm being fully transparent. Like I
Yeah.
started doing this.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You got a real good story of how you even got into this.
Yeah.
How did you get into this aspect of your creativity?
So to go to a dark place for a few moments, ride my train with me.
Mhm.
I lost my mom to cancer in May of 18, actually the day after my birthday.
Sorry
Um,
for your loss.
thank you, thank you. So when I lost her, I will tell everyone I lost myself. There was a solid year and a half where I looked in the mirror and didn't see a reflection. It,
Yeah.
I knew I was here, but I can honestly tell you from May of 18 until I'll say February,
It was
March
just a
of
blur.
20, it literally just a blur. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't drinking, I wasn't doing anything. I'm somewhat straight edge in that regard,
Yeah.
but it just all bled into the other. Like I was literally
Right.
here just being here.
Just exist.
So yeah. So as someone my age does, YouTube has a lot of rabbit holes. And I know you brought up conspiracy theories while we were off air.
Yeah, off air, yeah,
That's
for sure.
that's where I found my lane. Like I need to just look at all the weird shit that I can find because that's where my happy place was. And I was finding all kinds of shit. Like, not to get on my side story, but did you know there's a whole populace of people who believe that Australia does not exist?
I I didn't know that, but like I said off camera, bro, I don't disbelieve anything, and I could see like people. Yeah, no, of course, yeah, of course that's
Yeah.
the thing,
So
of
I
course.
went down this whole rabbit hole of shit like that. Now, where the rabbit hole stopped was there was this art channel that I followed still to this day. It's called Ace of Clay. Shout out to Anthony, his channel. What got me out of that in a roundabout way, he will never know this, but he deals with depression issues and ADHD and a lot of things on his end. He battles a lot.
Hey, let me
And
stop you one moment. One moment. Perp Boy asked, "What's a song I can look up or a video?" This is actual. He's a creative. He's a visual artist, and we're gonna give you his YouTube channel so you can go and check that out. Perp, give him your YouTube channel one more time before you continue on with this one.
yeah, shout out to you. It's Mind of AK. So MINDOFAK. I do want to preface there's a channel that's Mind of AK that has like a white dot. I don't know who this weirdo is. He has his all other shit, but YouTube won't let me just take the name.
Right.
So it's Mind of AK. Like actually I'll put it in our chat, the actual link if you want to share it with the
Very
people.
dope. Yeah.
I was finding out people were subscribing to that channel going, bro, you're a fucking weirdo and not being a complimentative. So I just want to clear that up. It's
Yeah.
Mind of AK. It's actually image of like a stylized image of my head. It's that one there. But
at the bottom ticker, he just sent us a
yeah.
link for it.
But yeah, to go back to what I was going on.
Yes,
So
sir.
the
Let's do
channel's Ace of Clay.
that.
And I remember it was 3 a.m. I can't sleep. And I saw this video where he made a snowman, but like a spider one, kind of like the Thing.
Yeah.
And I watched it and I was like, I want to make that. How much do I need to have to buy the material? So I Googled all the shit that he used. I can get all this at Michael's right now.
Right now.
Right now, I don't have to wait for Amazon Prime to mail it, bro. Let's go. Now, mind you, this is 3 a.m. on a Saturday. Oh yeah, okay. Well, let me wait till the next day and go buy all the shit. So I will honestly tell people the first handful of stuff that I made, I will never show to somebody. That is considered lost media. If anyone ever sees a photo of it, I slipped. I just, I felt way too comfortable with you to let you see that side of myself. But
Right.
what happened was through that is I found
That's y'all see the bottom ticker. That's the YouTube channel. Check out
that's
the work.
that's mine right there. Shout out if you all want to subscribe, look at the videos. I actually have one coming out on Monday where I show you how to make this.
Let's see what we got going on right here.
Yeah, so this is a mask. I would put it on, but sometimes it's hard to hear me.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'll show you how to make this on Monday at noon. I will have this up for the people. So if you want to check it out, by all means. But
I hope you got tutorials and everything you're doing.
facts. Yep. I try to do a little everything. So what I was finding with this though was the dark thoughts that I would have daily, which anyone who deals with depression, mental health, I slightly joke about it, but I do realize the stigma that's around it. We all are battling a lot, especially now, as far as mental anguish, personal vendettas or dilemmas, whatever you have. But I was finding a way of silencing the voices was when I was making things.
Mm.
And
That
I
was your
know
escape.
that was my escape. And
Nice.
I'm sure you can relate to it with music. When you have something like that, you feel empowered. Like you feel like even though you're going
It's
through
cathartic. It's very therapeutic.
that exactly. And I
Yeah.
was realizing even if I did it like how it came out, I was completing something for the first time in a long time. Like
You
I
felt
literally
the
was a person who was waking up and I was just out here. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I did it like how that felt, but I didn't have a way of trying to combat it that was constructive. So doing these type of things was how I got through it. So in 2020, when the whole world shut down, I had no excuse. On top of that, where else am I going? I can't go out. I can't do this, that, and the third. Okay, let's make some shit. Let's see what happens. So, this one I'm going to show you right now is my absolute favorite sculpture of all time.
Hell yeah.
This is a character that I wrote. His name is Lost John. I'm actually working with some people to do a podcast based off of him.
Oh,
So stay
nice.
tuned for that. Hopefully, cross fingers, I'll be able to put this out next year,
I
if
like
not around this time next year. But this is Lost John. To go to your question you asked me earlier, when I felt like I knew what I was doing, it was this dude right here.
Damn. That's fire.
So when I made him, I was like, you can't tell me shit. And I mean that with all due respect, as far as for me, like I said, imposter syndrome is still very real. But at the end of the day, I felt like more confident, with what I was making and everything. And like I was telling you off camera, what really spurred on a lot of my creative journey and my creative process was the same channel that I follow. Every year at the end of the year, he does a recap video of all
Yeah.
the sculptures that he does that year.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's 52 weeks in a year.
Right.
So you should have 52 sculptures on your table. And he would have like 37, 40. So it was
It
literally a
wasn't adding
fleet.
up.
Right. Like the numbers weren't adding up. And I looked at myself again, 3 in the morning, Saturday. I wonder if I can actually do one sculpture a week. Is this something that's just foreign and can't be done? Or is this something that can be not easy, but it's attainable, right?
How deep were you into the sculpture journey at that point? Like how many pieces have you completed?
Up to that point, I was about 20 or so in for 2020.
Okay.
And the bulk of that was on the back half. Like after like June or July, I just got in a zone where I was just making maybe 3 or 4 a week just because I had nothing else to do. But
Do you run into like a writer's block like you would when you're writing?
writer's block is something that I continuously have issues with. For whatever reason, sculpting, I don't have that wall. And
Wow.
I can't figure out why.
Wow.
Because these are characters based off of stuff that I'm working on and writing. But it's easy for me. Like, for instance, I'll show you this one.
Do sometimes the characters inspire the story? Like
Facts.
you'll come up with a character prior to the story, like, oh shit, like I'm gonna go ahead
Yeah.
and say something around this.
Yeah. So actually, I'm glad you just mentioned that. So this dude right here,
Yeah,
his name
yeah.
is his name is Junevich. And I wished
He's in the flyer, huh?
he's on that flyer that you got. Yep.
Yeah, that's fire.
And when I started making him, so I have this character actually right here. This one's on the flyer too. This is for a story I'm doing called Loon the Light Boy. Now, this one I made when I had 103 temperature and couldn't sleep.
God damn.
So I had nothing else to
Damn
do.
near delirious.
I pretty much was like, literally, I was going through some shit, bro. I won't even hold you.
Yeah.
So I made that, and for the longest time, I'm like, I don't know if I actually like it, or I'm just proud that I made something where I was basically dying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like to this day, like I don't know if it was more like, damn, I really made something, and I was throwing up and shitting on myself. This is all
Yeah.
right, cool.
Hell yeah.
When I made him, I'm like, oh, you know what? I wonder if you had this dude and this dude in a story and they
Mm,
just started throwing hands, what would happen?
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, a lot of my sculptures that I do, they are companions to something else that I may have done or I'm doing after that, but I got to get through that one first, as far as that. So, it's a lot of back and forth, a lot of back and forth with that. So, but yeah, so when I started that journey, it was in 2021. I did one sculpture, another one, and by April, I'm like, holy shit, I'm actually doing this. Like, okay, where's the wall that I'm about to crash into? Like, where's Dom
Yeah.
Toretto with the charger about to say, it doesn't matter if you're a mile or I'm waiting for it. It didn't happen. I got through 2021, and I actually have photos. Unfortunately, I don't have them right now, but every
Right.
year I do a photo where I line my staircase behind me with all of my sculptures, and I take a photo of it. Now, to go to your point earlier, where do I feel the confidence? When I share that photo every year, it's the response to that. It's like, that's what I need. If I'm being a little bit, selfish, that's what I'm looking for.
Right.
Is did I waste my year or didn't I?
Right.
That's my measure of like success at this point. Um, so 2021 whole year. Actually, that year I actually made more than 52. I made 59 that year because there was some that I was
Your
doubling
record?
up on.
Is that your record?
Right now, that's my record. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was 59. Last year I did 54, and this year, admittedly, I'm breaking even, so it's 52. So next year I got to try to hit 60 somehow. If I don't pay a light bill and I'm just here in the dark, okay, at least my gas is working. I got to hit 60 somehow. But um, that's what I was getting to with like when we're talking a little bit off air, the progression of my confidence. That's where it comes from. And as far as the confidence, it's not as much confidence that every time I make a sculpture, it's gonna get lauded with praise or it's going to be accepted as, oh, that's the hot shit because he made it. But the confidence in myself that I knew, I started a sculpture on Sunday, I finished it by Friday, rinse and repeat
You're set
without any.
you're setting little personal goals for yourself.
Yeah,
Setting up
exactly.
you're setting up little accomplishments for yourself to build into the bigger picture of the whole picture.
You said it. Yep, that's it.
My
And
homie Jesse to the left of me wants to know if you're doing commissions. He really likes what he's seeing right now.
I would love to take people's money to make them something. So absolutely, just link up with me. I'll put my email here for people.
Okay.
But yeah, so let me answer this a little bit better. I don't want to sound like that guy. Um, I do commissions. I admittedly have not done a lot of commissions because again, imposter syndrome, I battle it every week. Like I have a cycle I go through. This is my cycle. What the fuck am I doing? Well, we started it. We might as well finish it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that looks better. By the time I paint it, this is the best sculpture I've ever made. I will never top this project ever again.
Man.
And then Sunday comes and we do the whole thing again. That's my normal week,
Real shit. I
as
feel
far
that.
as
I feel that.
as far as that. But the thing is though, I love it because like I said, outside of a couple things in my life, it's the area where I feel complete and I feel like I'm allowed to be myself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As far as myself expressing what I'm into. Like I said, I'm a massive nerd. My biggest influences on earth are Guillermo del Toro, Jim Henson, rest in peace. Um, oh God, I just Jordan Peele. These people who have their lane and they are unabashedly, this is my lane. As far as who I am, how I'm choosing to create, this is me. You can either go this way with me or you can go this way with me.
I
Either
think
way,
I feel like most creators would describe themselves in that way, the same way that you're saying. Because I know a lot for like I know for me, like I always embrace being a weirdo. You know what I mean? Like, I'm speaking Jim Henson. Gonzo was my favorite Muppet. You know,
Gonzo was the dude, wasn't he?
Gonzo was always identified as that, and I would always have like my friends fall into that same set, and I like, and the older I got, the more I embrace like being different.
Yeah.
Because like my role models were different, you know what I mean? And even like always liking myself, or whenever people don't agree with me, like I kind of embrace it and say, like something I'm known for saying, or you might even heard on here if you're a frequent watcher, is people laughed at the Wright brothers whenever they were trying to fly, what I
Facts.
mean? But once they got in the air, they couldn't even hear them no more. What I mean? They wasn't worried about that.
And I
Like,
love how you said your influences made you who you are, because I feel that way too. Like I said, as a kid, my our household was Sesame Street, the Muppets, Power Rangers. My mom had a plug at Toys R Us. Let me tell you how my mom works. Whenever them action figures came out, I have no idea how she did it, but if you're a parent, you probably can relate when it's holiday season time.
hell yeah.
She had a beauty salon at our house, and when I'm at school, ring ring ring, hello, Rebecca, White Ranger just came in. She would shut down. Listen, she would shut down the beauty salon.
Ugh.
People are in the middle of getting their shit permed, tracks realigned, and they knew. Look,
They already
she
knew it
got
was
to go get the shit for her son.
cracking.
We got to stay here till she gets back, and no one ever batted an eyebrow or tried to challenge her on it.
Right.
Like, look, I gotta go. So I was very much that type of household. Power Rangers
Yeah.
was my shit. I'm sure you the same.
I am the same. Yes, yes.
Power Rangers, like I said, Muppets was life for me,
I
even to
always
this
felt like
day.
I always felt like I was the leader, so I used to fuck with the Red Ranger.
Yeah,
I mean, I fucked with Leonardo because I always wanted to be the leader type shit.
bro,
So
don't get me started on Ninja Turtles.
you
Like,
feel me?
don't
Like
don't.
I always had to be the leader whenever it came to the shit. So I fucked with all
Yeah,
that shit.
Ghostbusters. My mom had a whole outfit for me. It wasn't even Halloween. It was like February. She found it and was like, "Look, here's the proton pack. Here's your little
Yeah,
trap. Go outside
yeah.
and play with it." And
That's
again, to get
fire.
to my point,
That's fire.
I like the stuff, but I want to have friends too. You know what I mean? So you
Shit.
sending me out with all this on at 9 years old. I'm all right. Well, I guess I almost had friends this summer. Whatever.
I
But
don't know, man. I would have been your friend like hell. Like, come on, let's go.
let's go.
Let's get
You
it
know what I
cracking.
mean?
Let's get it
But
cracking.
But like I said, that's like the kind of person I am. And
Yes,
I was
sir.
always scared to fully embrace it publicly.
Yeah.
Privately, like if you look at my house, oh yeah, this motherfucker loves Batman. This dude loves this, that, and the third. But out in public, hi, yes, my name is Abdul. I was a whole different person.
Yeah.
Even to an extent, I still am, because the way of the world is, you gotta have some things be private. But
Sure. Yeah.
I definitely am a product of who raised me. Jim Henson raised me. Power Rangers raised me.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers raised me. Rest in peace to him too. Like
Rogers.
a lot of these
Yeah.
aspects of childhood, in our ironic way, helped shape like my creative side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel you. I was thinking that as you're saying it, like, and a lot of those things did nurture you pretending, right?
Mhm.
And being creative and being a creative. And I think our generation flourished from that, and it's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing that we were able to come up in that, and we're also able to be a part of the internet era. The fact that we're able to do this is dope, right?
Yeah.
So
Facts.
we're able to be a part of this era, so we get to take it further than those guys ever could even dream of taking it, right?
That's it. That's it. Absolutely. And like I said, I love how you worded that, because I was thinking to myself too, how do I say these people who I've never met have this much of an impact on me? Like I
Mhm.
never got to meet Jim, because I think Jim Henson died way before I was even born, and he was on his way out with his health complications he had.
Right.
Guillermo del Toro, I haven't got to meet yet. Like my main one, I know a lot of people shout out my hoodie. This is not mine. If you follow wrestling, there's a wrestler who recently passed away. His name is Bray Wyatt. His real name was Wyndham Rotunda. He is literally top five influences on me, and he's not five. Um, just we literally lost him 3 months ago to
That's
a heart complication. I cried for weeks, like weeks. Like my people will all tell you, yeah, he was not.
emotional.
I was, because like I'm telling you, like I could not process it. And the thing with him, like I know WWE has the stigma on it. Oh, it's wrestling. Oh, they're good. They got the tight shorts and the over the top. The thing with him is, like, the one thing I think I could touch on with like myself as well. He used his art as a way of expressing the pain that he's scared to combat every day.
Right.
He literally had a line in one of his promos where he said, art is a way for me to express myself.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you're expressing yourself, no one can ever hurt you.
Damn.
And when he said that, I was like, that is some cold shit that he said.
Yeah.
And he said it right beside a puppet. So a lot of people probably didn't get what he just said
Right.
because of the surroundings that he was in at the moment. But that's something I always take. Like when I make any of my art, like for instance, this. Okay, are we celebrating Christmas? Are we a serial killer? Are we auditioning to join Slipknot? We'll find out in the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. At the same time, though, I am proud that I made this because this is literally foam clay. Like, I don't know if people are familiar. Foam clay is essentially like air dry clay. Mm-hmm. It's not supposed to do this. Like, literally, I will say it's not supposed to form and hold its shape like this at all.
You were able to accomplish it.
Right. Like this, I made a couple weeks ago. Actually, I could put this one on.
Yeah, that's hard.
And tell me if I'm wrong. You can still hear me talking, right?
No, I can hear you.
See, this shouldn't happen either. Like, this is the things that I talk about. I don't know how I did this and it actually works. Like, at all. Like, crazy. Like, I should have had this 3 years ago when all this shit started with the pandemic. I'd be cool right now, you know?
Oh yeah, for like a face mask type deal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And the thing is, I'm seeing this, bro. Like, you could take this like so many different directions. Like, people actually hire motherfuckers on movie sets for this type of work that you're doing, bro. Like the type of stuff that you're doing. There's so many, and the funny part is, like, you didn't even get into it for none of that. Like, it was almost a fluke, the way that you found that. I know we spoke about that a little bit off camera, how you were able to find yourself in something that you didn't even know that you had interest in.
Yeah. And I always compare it to this. Like, I don't know if anyone follows Lizzie McGuire. I'm not going to say I was the biggest Lizzie McGuire fan because I don't need the comments. But there's this one episode of Lizzie McGuire that it resonated with me even now. It was an episode where she was supposed to have a talent for a talent competition. And to your point, how you set off camera, nobody knows what they want to do with their life or what they're good at. So her talent that she finds throughout the episode is her doing a flag twirling, where she's literally just twirling a flag. And she even says in the episode, this is what I'm good at. Everyone out here is singing. Everyone out here can do gymnastics. Right. I can do this. And this is my talent. That's for the longest time, to a detriment to myself. I'll fully admit that. I never knew if the stuff that I was making was actually good, or if it was just I'm doing something just so I'm not a guy on his couch not doing anything with his life. You know what I mean? Like, it's something I continue to battle, and it's okay to keep battling it because battling it keeps you motivated. It keeps you striving to do better. You know, that's the one thing for me. If I ever get complacent with anything that I'm doing, whether it's sculpting, writing, doing visuals, I'm doing it literally at that point because I'm getting a bag out of it. Like, that's not where I want my life to be. Right. I want to always continue to strive to do something I feel is outside of my norm or outside of my comfort zone.
Challenging yourself.
Exactly. You know, and a lot of people are scared to challenge themselves. Like, you know, you're from Pittsburgh. You see it probably more than I do. There's people out there that if they want to try to go out the box and sound differently than the Travis Scotts or the Drakes or this, that, and this person or that person, you might as well be teaching them calculus. No, Drake, did you just hear For All the Dogs?
Yeah.
We all heard it. Yeah. Why do you want to put that out when you can put your own, like I said, Rugrats is such a dope track, and I really hope Spotify fixes your plays, because I know for me, I played it a lot.
That's fine.
Way more than I should probably admit without looking like a weirdo. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
No, that was a very dope track, man. Shout out Roscoe Wiki. Him and I created that joint on the spot.
That's what's up.
And I didn't even think like the Rugrats. So this isn't a me story. So I'll try to make this as brief as possible. I didn't even think of the title Rugrats. I wanted to do a whole like Riley Freeman mixtape. I don't know if you fuck with Boondocks at all.
Yeah.
but I wanted to do a Riley Freeman mixtape, and that's what I was working on. Roscoe's Girl walked by. I was like, this kind of reminds me of Rugrats for some reason. I was like, that's the name of the drink.
That's dope.
I was like, that.
Also, shout out to Roscoe. I remember the first time I met that kid. It was, I know this is a dark cloud over Pittsburgh, so just ride with me on it.
For
It
sure.
was at the second annual Pittsburgh Hip Hop Awards
Mm.
down at the William Hotel. I know it's a dark cloud because of how people reacted to it and everything, but I remember meeting him. He had on the Nintendo controller belt buckle
Yeah, yeah.
and all this stuff. I'm like,
Did he had a chain on a
he
Nintendo
had the chain on and he had the belt
NES
buckle to
controller?
match. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yep. And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. He is not afraid to be, and he was young as hell at the time.
Yeah,
I think he just graduated high school, if I'm not mistaken.
right, yeah.
He was not scared to be himself amongst a whole other people, somewhat being similar to everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I always give credit to Roscoe.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's true.
I always give credit to him, Nova, Terry Jones. To me, these are legends that don't get the clout that they should. You know, Terry's just now starting to get his bag and the credit that he's supposed to get. But he was doing that years ago when he was doing his comedy, creating his own lane. You know, just to get, to the point. Shout out Roscoe, And I am kind of mad though because he's finally taller than me, and I don't like people that are taller than me. I have a little Napoleon complex on that. But anyway, it's okay. It is what it is. He matured.
Taller than you?
What's that?
You said Roscoe's taller than you?
I think he is. Last time I saw him, I think unless he had platforms in his shoes, which I don't think he does. I don't want to put that out there, but I think he is about an inch taller than me now.
Damn. Okay. All right. For sure. No, you're right. Roscoe's a super creative dude.
Yeah, man.
If y'all didn't get a chance, we did an episode with Roscoe on Marley State of Mind. Check that out. Listen to a little bit of his story, and what you're saying about him is correct. He always been a little bit different, a little bit ahead. And I think that's the thing that people misconstrue with like quote unquote being weird or different. Like, to me, it's being ahead of the curve. Like, who wants to be everybody else? Like, it's the different that makes everything go round. That's what makes progression happen, is different. Like, if Henry Ford wasn't satisfied, if he just wanted to walk like everybody else, then where the fuck would we be at? You know
exactly.
what I mean? Like I said, if the Wright brothers was just cool with doing the same shit everybody else was doing, then where the fuck would we be at? Ben Franklin wasn't brave enough to go outside with a motherfucking kite and the key. You know what I mean? Like it's cool to be different sometimes. Like that's where
it's rewarding because even if it doesn't set the lane for you, you might have told the other person, okay, it's okay for me to do this, and maybe they get
you might plant the seed that makes the difference.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
exactly.
That's a famous Tupac quote, right? Like he said, I might not be the change that changes the world, but I might spark the change that changes the world.
Exactly.
No,
also, just to get on this, since you brought up Tupac, isn't it crazy how everything comes full circle if you give it enough time? We never knew this whole time who took him away from us. We had to lose his mom, and now we find out the person a lot of people thought it was years ago finally is being charged with it. Ain't that crazy?
Well, hold on. So this is funny. I know a lot about this. Because it was a game song. It was a game song featuring Anderson .Paak. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but in the song, Game said, "Baby Lane killed Tupac, and some niggas killed Baby Lane."
Mm-hmm.
And he said it very nonchalant, and I'm like, "Damn! Like, is this like who's Baby Lane?" So I did this deep dive into the Tupac murder, and Keefe D did not kill Tupac. They arrested.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird. Keefe D admitted a long time ago. Keefe D actually told the full story of what happened for immunity for other crimes, which is I was very surprised when I found out he got arrested for this, because I thought he had immunity. But Keefe D was in the vehicle. He was admittedly in the vehicle. So Baby Lane was Orlando Brown. That was the guy that Tupac stomped in a casino, the famous stomp.
Got you. Okay.
So Baby Lane stole a member of Death Row's chain like some days prior to that. So when Tupac seen him, he was a Death Row member, was like, that's the dude that stole my chain. So Tupac ran over the dude and started jumping on him, and everybody else stomped him out, which is what you seen. What they didn't know was Baby Lane was a real gangster. Like he was a
Yeah.
real Crip from out that way, and he didn't play that shit. So he was steaming. That's why you see him in the video in the casino. He's smiling. He's not tripping because he knows he's about to take care of it. So I guess they went to like a damn. This turned into a whole different podcast, right? So I guess they
Hey, you're teaching me something because I've been on this for a couple weeks now. I'll be like,
yeah,
I told y'all.
yeah, do a deep
Yeah,
dive on this. This is Baby
yeah,
Lane, Orlando.
yeah. Keep going. Like,
So
yeah.
they went. So after they stomped him out, they all went to a club that they knew that Death Row was going to, and they were going to wait for these dudes, and they were going to like shoot them at the club. So they waited for a while. They couldn't. They didn't. They ended up not seeing them at the club. They were driving around Vegas, about to head back to LA because it's not a far drive for anybody who's familiar with it. So they were about to head back home, but they heard these girls, the girls that took that last picture of Tupac and Suge, they heard them yelling like Tupac, Tupac, you know what I mean, going crazy. And it was like, oh, there he is. And that's when they pulled up behind them. And they're telling the dudes up front, like, shoot, shoot, shoot. Nobody's shooting. So Baby Lane grabs the gun, reaches across the seat, and shoots at Tupac.
Oh wow.
And Baby Lane's the one that killed him.
Damn.
And not to dwell on this for too much longer. So Tupac's last words to the cop, and if you ever listen to the cop tell the story, he told the cop, "Fuck you." He's like, "Who shot you?" And he told the cop, he was like, "Fuck you." So Baby Lane was killed out in Compton, I believe. I could be wrong, but he was killed out in L.A. For sure. And his last words to the cops, they were trying to get him to confess to the Tupac murder because everybody in the hood knew what happened. Everybody knew the story, like I just told you. But so the police was trying to get him to confess to the Tupac murder, and because it's like your last words they can go by.
Yeah.
And he told the cop, "Fuck you."
Oh,
so his last words were the same exact last words as Tupac to an officer.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Because, like I said, I've been wrong this whole time. Like I've been talking all because my one boy thought it was the dude that you said. So I'm now I can be on the right side of information. Which shout out to people who actually get it right.
Oh man, it's so many stories, and like I said, I did a deep dive into it to find, and that's the way Game said it in the record. It was so nonchalant. He said, "Baby Lane killed Tupac." I'm like, is this just common knowledge? And mind you, Game's from L.A. He knows, and he said it very nonchalant in the record. I'm like, and as I started looking into it, it is common knowledge. Glasses Malone, actually, if you're familiar with Glasses Malone, if you're not familiar with Glasses Malone, he has this crazy song called "Tupac Should Die." Where he recounts the whole story, and he has a video of it that is absolutely insane, where he does it like from Baby Lane's point of view. It's called "Tupac Must Die." Check out that.
Look into that.
Oh, bro, if you watch the video, you're gonna be mom. It's gonna give you chills because you're gonna be like, "Damn, like I was there." He does a great job of telling the actual story that happened.
I'm gonna have to look into that. Yeah, you and I shared, or definitely akin. Like I love deep dives into shit.
Oh, bro,
like I am so much into deep dives on YouTube or like a podcast. Like this is like you brought up, space shit a little bit ago. There's this theory. I don't know the exact name of the theory because I keep trying to find it, but supposedly I call it the dark planet theory. So you might be familiar with this if you're familiar with like, celestial bodies and all of that. There's supposedly behind the sun, there's a hidden planet that can't be seen. And the other way that you can see it is if you're able to get around the gravitational pull of the sun and be lined up right behind the earth, like the sun, like literally, like if the sun is here and the planet's
here, opposite side of the
you have to be on the opposite side, which they say that's the other way that you would be able to see it.
So we would never be able to see it.
No. Nope. And
how do you feel about this? Do you subscribe to this?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I'm one of those, like when they say that there's multiverses, like the Mandela effect, all of that, you can't tell me that Shazam movie ain't real. Like I know for a fact that I've seen that shit 4 times that I don't think I liked it. Maybe that's why no one can find it, because someone's like, we got to get this out of here. Like this
Mandela, the one that did it for me with that one was the Berenstein Bears, because I definitely remember Berenstein, however you want to say it, Stein, never Stain. I
No,
never recall Berenstain Bears. I don't know where the hell that came from.
you know the one that
How they
fucks,
snuck that one in.
the one that messes me up. The Fruit of the Loom logo
Oh
doesn't have
yeah,
the
the
cornucopia.
cornucopia. Yeah,
I that totally flipped me about. Crazy.
the counter Earth theory. Jesse looked it up.
There it is.
That's the
Thank
name
you.
of the theory you're talking about. The counter
Yep.
Earth.
There's a planet behind the sun that we can never see.
It probably is another Earth thing because it's probably on the same gravitational pull, but the opposite.
Yeah.
So it's probably hella opposite. Like people probably there's probably like more left-handed people.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'm
that's
left-handed, so that
crazy.
would be great to be amongst my peers,
Maybe not though. Maybe not.
Maybe not. You're right. I
Mm.
like, I'm okay with being an oddball now.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
if
Hell
we're coming
yeah.
up, with how this, all this is going, be the oddball if you can. Now, oddball within reason, and I won't get into all of that because I don't want this to become a controversial. Oh, he on some bullshit. I'm
No,
just
make
gonna
it.
leave it at that.
I like that.
Oddball with restrictions. You know what I mean?
Not, I don't know. I don't think you should have restrictions on. Just be yourself. Be the
Yeah,
best you can be, and that's the thing about it. Like, and I know it's cliche or whatever, and it's going to sound like it, but can't nobody be you better than you can be. So it's nothing
facts.
wrong with trying to embrace yourself. And I know sometimes as a kid, it's hard to find who you are. You got to grow into yourself.
Right. And I think, with me, it took me a while. Like, I'll be 40 next May. And it took me every second of them 40 years to find out who I am.
Right.
So, who is AK? My real name is Abdul. Who is Abdul? Who
Yeah.
is AK Wright? I am a writer that wants to create stories. And to me, it used to be just linear. I write the story, I share it. Hopefully, someone will read it. Or if it's a screenplay, I might get the gravity to make it, myself or have someone, a team, bring the story to life. Now it's more encapsulated with that. Now I write the story, I make the characters of the story, I share it with people. It's more encapsulated and expanded than it was 5 years ago, which that's the one thing, if I can tell anyone that I'm proud of myself for, was I was nervous of trying something, but it filled the void that I was having with myself. You
Uh,
know,
right.
as far as like I said, I was in a bad, dark. I won't get into it here, but I was down bad. Like, I was the definition of down bad. If they ever put that in the dictionary, just put my whole oblong face. Oh yeah, that's down bad. Like, that's how I was for about 2 years. And then, am I perfect now? Absolutely not. But I'm more equipped to battle depression. I'm more equipped to battle the dark days than I was. And it's not even necessarily just tied into like my art and my writing. I put the work in. Therapy is important. Mental health is important. You're worth fighting for. Like I tell people often, if no one wants to fight for you, you're supposed to fight for yourself. You
I
know what
think
I
it's
mean?
I think it's a great thing that like nowadays and more so now than ever it's more embraced to be yourself. And
Exactly.
I think mental health coming into the forefront is a great thing that is happening nowadays is that wasn't happening before. It was kind of pushed to the side or was kind of made fun of in a way or it was made it to look like a weakness where when now people understand the strength in it.
Hmm.
I think these are some of the beautiful things that have come in modern times. Although a lot of people feel disconnected with the way the society's going. I think it's a great time for individuality, um,
Right.
and not in a cliche sense because then that's how you lose the individuality is when everyone's trying to be the same individual, right?
Hmm.
But I think the fact that people can embrace who they are and people don't, you might get a look or whatever the case may be, but people are you know, quicker to shove it off or brush it off like, "Oh, okay, well, that's just who they are."
But that's the thing. Like, I love the looks now.
Mhm.
Like for my last video that I did, like this one here, I because people would ask me all the time, can I actually wear these and leave my house? I said, yeah, let me show you. So I literally put this on, got in my car, and videotaped me driving around. The looks I got with this on,
Yeah.
I loved every single one.
Yeah, I'm sure
like,
people were definitely like, "What is that? What's going on?"
what in the fuck is that? and I would wave. Like I was polite. I love the looks now.
Some of
Now,
the stuff would be great props in like hip hop videos too, like or just videos and not
yeah.
even hip hop, just videos in general. Like
Like speaking of that, what's going on? You got something coming out soon?
I'm always working, man.
Uh,
Always working.
we need something.
Oh man, yeah, we could definitely talk. My whole brand, is Monstar Air. You can see the logo in the background. I couldn't help but have some things going through my mind. But we're definitely gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I'll definitely link up with you and make something. Like actually, I wouldn't mind wearing this and that for you.
Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. I got a
Yeah,
little delay, so oh yeah, that's hard. Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
like I said, I can definitely get you something. Like I said, and you know, I don't want anything
That's
for it. I just want to do it to support you, bro.
Oh man,
Just
that's
let me.
that's amazing. No, yeah, we'll definitely talk, man. I definitely want you to be compensated for your work because that's how you show true support, right?
I
But yeah,
appreciate that, but
we're definitely gonna talk and make something happen. I love that. Yeah, I
hell
couldn't help
yeah,
but think of that, seeing some of your pieces and the things you're doing, incorporating that in some type of
yeah. Because what's funny, like I'm glad it didn't come up, but I'll bring it up myself. I started out doing music years ago, and I apologize to anyone who ever listened to anything that I came out. I'm sure there's a class action suit somewhere where you can get your time back. I apologize. All right. And that was in the cuffs of me trying to find my identity. But like I said, a lot of the people in the Pittsburgh hip hop scene I support and I'm very familiar with. Rest in peace to Ivory. He
damn,
was a
damn.
solid one with me. Like I said, Nova, super solid. Roscoe, the whole Commonwealth fam. I still listen to Disco Lemonade to this day.
Oh, those
Every
Bruno's, everybody your name,
yeah,
bro. I love
yeah,
Avery. Rest in peace, Avery.
yeah. I mean, I was listening to Boaz before he got on the rostrum. Like
Yeah.
I'm super familiar with the scene, and I
Oh, with that being said, let me give you this then. So if who's your top five artists from the Pittsburgh area? No pressure.
whew,
It's like
that's
no.
no, there's pressure there. There's
Yeah,
pressure. All
no.
right. In no particular order.
And don't nobody be mad. This is his favorite. This is his
Yeah.
opinions. He's allowed to have like whatever the
So
fuck he wants to like, y'all.
yeah. So in no particular order outside of number one. Number one, it's just there, Mac Miller.
Oh
And I
yeah.
will say with Mac, I came onto him late. Like I actually tell my friends all the time, damn, I wish I was into him when he was still here. Cause
Yeah.
this shit is impeccably just amazing music. Like you
Yeah,
could
he's
hear,
incredible, man. Yeah, Mac is
yeah.
amazing
Um,
in so many ways. From the old high life stuff that he did.
yeah,
He did a lot of his own production. A lot of people don't even know that.
that too. Yeah.
Like a lot of his own production. He was just such an amazing artist, and he was just scratching the surface before he left us. He was about to go to a whole different
Yeah.
plane.
And a lot of that was independent too. Like
Yeah.
the Warner Brothers deal, okay, that was there, but his whole wave was him being himself when he was still with Rostrum. Like I think Rostrum put him on the pedestal, but a lot of that was just himself being himself that carried him, you
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
So I gotta have him number one, without any question in my mind.
Yeah,
Uh two, I'm gonna I'll say Nova.
that's a
I
good.
always appreciated his creativity,
Yeah,
always, and his delivery. And like, when you say production, he produced a lot of his own stuff too,
yeah,
and he still does. Um, Number three, I'm kind of cheating because I grew up with him, so I kind of know him. His name used to be Ajax. I think he goes by Ayatollah Jax now.
oh yeah, hell yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good one, bro. Fucking right.
yeah. I
Yeah,
don't think honestly he gets enough credit for just he would shred people lyrically, shred
that's
people.
a good one. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Ajax, what up, Ajax?
Yeah, shout out to Ajax. I used to beat his ass. He'll deny this to this day. I used to mollywop the shit out of him in Mario Kart. Like he couldn't touch me in Mario Kart. That's how
He'll mess
far
with you,
back
bro.
he no to this day. What?
He wasn't
He,
messing with you.
he might have gotten two out of me because I was tired. But like we could try it again if we want to, but I don't Anyway, number 3, Ajax. I just have to put him on there. 4, just for the spotlight he put on the city, you got to say Wiz.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
before there was, you know, the first album he had on Atlantic, people sleep on, the whole mixtape wave that he had,
Oh my
Cushion
god,
OJ.
yeah.
Like, listen,
Prince of the
people,
City too is my favorite Wiz
yeah,
project, and it's so amazing. Just the
like
sound.
people say 50 was like the mixtape king. I
Mhm.
would put Wiz very close to under that. Like the whole mixtape genre that he put out, like he
Yeah,
never, all of them were no skips.
yeah. No,
And
I
this is
get that.
someone who really didn't like the album Wiz, but mixtape Wiz was a whole different Whiz.
A
And I
whole
don't think
different
people
animal.
understand that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was making some amazing music. The production was so crazy. He was getting like some of the best production in Pittsburgh.
mm-hmm.
Shout out Sledger and shout out my homie Germ, who was on the
Yeah.
episode of this. Y'all
Johnny,
check out Germ.
uh,
Johnny Giuliano, hell yeah.
bro, I I want to know what happened to
E
him.
Daniel. You
I
know,
haven't heard him at all.
Giuliano's still working, bro.
Okay.
Giuliano did a lot of stuff for Schoolboy Q
Okay. Okay.
on
Good.
his last
Good.
project.
Okay. Good.
Um, yeah,
Like I
so
said, I haven't really been
Giuliano's
in connected with that, but I
yeah.
know
He's been quiet though, but the way he's been doing it is crazy. But he's still doing his thing for real.
that's what's up. Then that's good.
Mhm.
All right, so we got Wiz, we got Nova, we got Ajax, Wiz.
Mac,
Yeah, I said okay. Mac, Nova, Wiz, Ajax. That last one. You know what? I'm gonna cheat and do a tie. And I
okay.
mean this full heartedly. I'm not saying this just because of the show I'm on. I'm about to put you tied with Boaz.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I'm gonna say why.
Crazy.
When you talk about pure just when you put the beat on, my cadence will match this no matter what the beat is.
Yeah,
You and Boaz, I put in the same lane. Like Boaz had a whole album where it was like the Nas aspect. Just turn the mic on. I got something to say. That whole wave with him was crazy. And I
oh
think you are right there. So that would be, I'm cheating, for that, but it's okay. That would be my 5.
that's
Like,
fine.
honestly, like I keep bringing up Rugrats just because that beat knocks so hard,
Yeah, shout out
for
Roscoe.
me. But
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
a whole other catalog that I fuck with just as equally. So that would be my 5, technically 6.
Oh man, good shit. Yeah, no, I like that. I like all those artists. I'm big fans of.
Yeah, man.
And they've all done so much for and Bo especially. Bo was really the king of the city.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I'll do an honorable mention. S Money, people don't realize how
yeah,
much of a
definitely.
god he was in Pittsburgh
Yeah,
before all that. What happened to him? Like
yeah,
that man, you could say what Jeezy was to Atlanta, S Money was for Pittsburgh. Like that man could go anywhere and get the same amount of love without any complications. Just that he was it. You know what I mean? Like I'm the man was bumping everywhere. You know,
what a crazy track I'm the man was, right? Like that was one of them.
bro.
Like they would play it in the club and people would go crazy. And there wasn't
Yeah,
too many
I'm the
Pittsburgh records in
man.
standing
I'm the
that you could
I'm the
play in
mother.
a. You ever hear the 50 Cent song? I'm the man. Sounds very similar. I don't know if I
Very
don't.
similar, but like I said, I'm biased. I'm Pittsburgh all day.
No,
That
I'm not saying 50 did because
yeah,
50 came way after.
yeah.
That's Money Joint. I don't know if he heard That's Money Joint and was inspired by it, but it sounds real. Not saying he
Like to
stole it.
me, like when
Sounds real
if
simple.
you do a top 100 songs from Pittsburgh, that got to be top 20 easily. Like that was an anthem. Like I know Black and
Yeah,
Yellow will get like
I said
number
that's top
1
5
for
for
a
me.
lot of people, but that jam, that was the song for that summer.
No,
Like you could
I
have,
don't even know Black and Yellow. This is the thing about it for me. So that was after Wiz was on and he was,
yeah.
I mean, and I know that was like the song that kind of catapulted him. But there was a lot of songs that didn't get play locally, and there's a few songs that did, and it was
Mm-hmm.
played on the radio and played nonstop. And those ones are like the classics for me. And I'm the Man being one of them.
Yeah.
Of course, Elm Street by Wapo.
Yeah. That
Being
was another good
one
one.
of them. They played the hell out of Elm Street, and I think it's still like if you want to come and DJ, if you're not from Pittsburgh, you want to come and DJ in Pittsburgh, go ahead and spin that record one time, and I guarantee you'll get that place wherever you're at.
You're gonna get a whole lot of shit fucked up too, but it won't be your that won't be your problem.
Right.
They're gonna be bottles broke everywhere. Like that was the thing. Like I said, he was very similar to Jeezy when and I know because like I don't know nothing about drugs. Everything I learned about drugs was on Thug Motivation 101. Like that was the manual. If you want to move some shit, page 1. Hit the kitchen lights, there's marble floors everywhere. Oh, that's what that meant. Like that's so I always equate S Money and him because honestly, if you listen to their catalogs, they're really not that far off either, as far as quality goes, like he had some trunk bangers too, just like I'm the Man is like probably top of that, but like I said, I always shout out S because I know how close he was. Like he was right on the cusp of where he wanted to go, and then obviously we all know his story. We don't have to dive into it and everything, but he got to get an honorable mention just because he was like I keep going back to. He was him. He knew who he was, and that's what people fell into and fucked with. You know what I mean? So also I want to give a shout out to again to be biased. My cousin Kippy, he had a rap group called Kippy and Clientele. He's a solo act now. I think you and him actually, if I can get y'all to connect, y'all two can do some crazy shit together. He definitely, I definitely recommend him to everybody. He gets a lot of love here, but it's really hard for him to break into the city. So anytime I get to shout him out to people, even if it's, hey, give him a chance, give him a listen, see what you think. I definitely always recommend him. So definitely, if anyone wants to check him out, I'll definitely appreciate that. But that would be my 6, now 8.
Yeah.
You
might as well just go ahead and round it off with the top 10 then.
There we go. All right. So top 10. All right. Mac. So we got Mac, Nova, Ajax, Wiz, you and Bo as we're tied. All right. So then we got S Money, Kip. So we got 2 more. Oh, damn. All right. So I'll cheat again. The whole Commonwealth family.
Hell yeah.
You got to.
Hey, that's one of my favorite groups ever, just in general.
Yeah. Like, and and the thing I liked about Commonwealth, like, I know a lot of people get flack on Pittsburgh for sounding too much like other areas. That album was a Pittsburgh album.
Oh, like, man, I will tell everybody. They sound like the way they sound.
Exactly. And, you could say like sometimes Wiz sounds like he does trap music, or you could say this about so many other people. That was this is Pittsburgh 724-412 area code. This is our lane. This is who we are. We're not changing shit about it. This is them. So shout out to them. There'll be 9, which technically that's 10 because there's 5 motherfuckers in it, but I'll keep it that. Number 10, I know nobody's gonna remember who this dude is. I remember him because I actually talked to him a couple times. Now, it's kind of controversial because you don't know if you can ever trust anything he says or not, but Joe Beast was
Joe Beast.
Joe Beast was a monster out here.
We got to know who Joe Beast is.
Joe Beast was a monster out here.
Yeah, Joe Beast was signed with Aftermath. He was a part of the Mailman wave on the West.
Yep. And depending on who you talk to, why he wasn't on Aftermath is why you can't really take his word for granted. Because if you ask people that were in the camp at the time, he was supposed to have his album come out right after the G Unit album. If you talk to people on his side of things, he never really did any music until he did the one song on the 8 Mile soundtrack.
Yeah.
So
that's what I have a friend who was close to that, who was a part of the same camp, and I there was a couple things to that, right? 50 Cent messed up a lot of things for a lot of artists.
He fucked everything up. Like Obi Trice will tell you that. Like when he got signed, oh wait, he's still on the label? Oh, okay. Well, we might as well put him out. But remember, 50's over here. This is where the money is. Yep. All this is extra credit now. Like 50 was his, and the thing with 50, it was just print the money.
Yeah,
Like he
it
could
was
have like
easy.
too fucking easy. Like M knew what he was doing. Shout out to M. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah,
Like,
him and Dre killed that one, didn't they?
hmm
They killed that.
yeah. And Joe Beast was the first casualty. Him and like I think four other people. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I think Eve was a part of that too, if I'm not mistaken. She
Eve
was
was there. Busted got to do one album, but then he dipped. Uh Stat Quo. People don't remember Stat Quo.
Stack
Stat
Up.
Quo was supposed to be the next TI, and then his
Yeah,
wave just stopped, you know.
yeah, Stack Up. I remember they did a Shady Re-Up album
Mm-hmm.
around that time, and it featured a lot of artists who were supposed to be on Shady.
Yep. Bobby Creekwater, nobody remembers.
Yeah,
There was
Bobby Creekwater.
I never really liked him, but so back in that day, I was a huge Shady Aftermath mark.
Me
Like
too.
anything that came out Shady Aftermath G Unit, I bought. I
Same.
even bought that depending on how you feel about it, that very polarizing Mob Deep album. Like I know a lot of people did it like the G Unit Mob Deep album. I listened to it just because I felt like I needed the support. But
Yeah,
depending on who you asked, this wasn't Mob Deep. This was 50 paid for this, and this is what Fifth Mob Deep did. Depending on who
yeah,
you ask.
that's what
But
they thought. That's what they thought 50 was, right? Like, because that's what he did for Game. Like,
yeah.
we're just gonna do this G Unit formula. We're gonna have 50 do the hooks,
Mm-hmm.
have some cool ass hooks with some dope. They say Dre beats, but it's Mel Man and
Yeah.
Big Porter, whoever else was ghost making
Yeah, I
beats
don't think Dre's done a beat in probably a decade, if we're being honest.
all
He
over again.
just
Probably a few decades, quite a
but
few.
does he have to?
No.
Like
Well,
like
they say that's the thing though. Like he's the ear. Like he's like Quincy Jones. Like
yeah,
he hears it and he's like, okay, this doesn't need this. This does need this. Turn that up. Turn that down.
yeah.
What's a hit? Like now,
Yeah,
I
like
mean, and we can't argue with the results, right?
no, not at all.
We can't argue
Like
with the results.
you know what's
You're
crazy? A
so
crazy
you
stat when you bring up Dre. Think about every album that Kendrick put out. So think of
okay.
Good Kid, Mad City,
Mhm.
To Pimp a Butterfly, Untitled, Unmastered, Damn, and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Do you know the one glaring fact that has never happened in the history of anyone on Aftermath?
What's that?
Dre never made one single production. Kendrick has never flown on a Dre beat his whole career.
Is that true? That's not true.
That is 100% true.
You mean for an album?
Album, single, Dre has never produced a beat and Kendrick flew on it. There was one, so someone's probably going to bring this up. There was one unreleased track that never got publicly released. But as far as publicly released projects that Aftermath put out,
we gotta look into that. That's crazy. If that's a thing, that's crazy.
yeah, Dre has never made a beat, gave it to Kendrick, and Kendrick flowed on it. Ever.
What? That's insane.
And think about the quality of the work that Kendrick put out,
Oh
and
yeah.
he never had Dre production on it. And it's considered top of the food chain as far as projects that came out,
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's insane. I gotta do some research into this one now. That's crazy.
Yeah, look it up. Like there is, like I said, I don't know the name of the unreleased song, but someone said there was an unreleased song. But as far as like in the store or on Spotify, Kendrick has never flown on a Dre beat.
So it's crazy how all the creative parts of you come into it, right? Because we can tell you're big into music, right? You like to do the writing, you like to now you got into the world of sculpting and being a creative like that. And you're also into sports as well, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tomlin, 1941. We was in World War II the last time they fired someone in the middle of the season. God damn it. And we did it. But yeah, I'm really big into sports.
You're a big Steeler fan?
Come on now. Like
right. Hey, some people, some people don't like things that are good. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with that.
Like I don't know how to answer. Like if you're okay with second place, hey, all the power to you. But
I feel you.
Like
but I asked the question now.
Yeah, sport wise, like I said, they're my team for football. I'm the oddball when it comes to basketball. I'm a Spurs fan. I can't tell you why. I've always rocked with
Always
San
been?
Antonio.
Okay.
Always.
No, I mean, y'all about to come back then. You got Wemby now, so it's about to
Yeah.
come y'all
Yeah.
about to be back on a rise. And
I'm
he
hoping he don't.
looks like
I'm the only thing I'm nervous about him is
getting hurt.
him getting hurt and becoming Greg Odom part 2.
Yeah,
Because
he
everybody
looks
was ready.
fragile.
Yeah, he looks like glass if they're in case of emergency. Like
Yeah, he looks fragile.
his ankles ain't really worth shit if we're being honest. But
I know. I mean,
I believe in Popovich. If Popovich is willing
yeah,
to put up with him for 5 more years to get him where he has to,
yeah.
we won't be in the contention this year, but
No.
the West is going to come back through us eventually. You know,
The thing is,
eventually.
if you get a solid draft pick this year and really put some pieces around them,
Yeah.
you know, what I mean, that'd be ideal.
And that's the thing, draft picks. I don't want any, hey, this dude hates being in Chicago and we bring him in. That's not how Pop works.
James Harden come to ruin your team too.
I want nothing to do with that dude. I don't know.
Somebody got mad at me because I said he was a team killer. I was like, bro, he is a team. Well, what proof do you have in that? Well, Houston, Brooklyn, the 76ers.
Brooklyn should have been the end of it. Like,
Right.
how do you go into that team with that energy? Literally, Brooklyn, when he came on, was set up to win. Like, people they'll say it that way. He was set up to win. Yeah. All he had to do was play your role.
That's it.
What's the problem?
What's the problem?
Like, you're not the super.
How you gonna ask me how he's a team killer? Look at him. Then now look at the Clippers. Then continue to watch them and then watch what happens. It's not going to be good.
Also, we have to stop the talk that he's a defensive player of the year. We got to stop.
Who says that,
bruh?
No,
there's reasons I don't.
For his defense.
There's reasons I don't watch ESPN much anymore. Like, they want a lot in him. Oh, he's just defensive. When? When?
Never.
Like. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, I think what it came down to, I always liked Tim Duncan because the thing with Tim, he always made the game look easy.
Yeah,
like he went like
layup. He's underrated, right? He's the best power forward that ever played the game.
100%. I will never let anyone argue me that ever.
Let me start with this. I'm a Lakers fan, always have been. So that's
hey, shout out the Lakers. They're my number 2. Yeah. You know, I respect Kobe. Like, his last game, I had many a tear, and he dropped 60 that game. That's crazy. Which is crazy. Like, you're retiring, still showing you dominate this shit. That's crazy. Yeah. Like, you know, shout out.
I'm with you on a Tim Duncan. Like, he doesn't get the respect that he deserves. Timmy has what, 5 rings?
5, and honestly, he doesn't get credit for staying on one team.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. What I think is literally, for me, it's killing the league. Like, I still watch it. Don't get me wrong. I still watch it, but I am one of them people like Steph Curry. If he ever leaves Golden State, that to me would be an issue because he's so ingrained in Golden State, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's his identity.
So I get if Steph Curry, but can you be mad at someone like Dame, who, I mean, he tried in Portland. And they just never would.
So if the team shows that they don't want you, absolutely not. You got to go. Go be where you can be happy. Like, when LeBron left Cleveland the first time, I knew that was happening because they would have built around him. And when they tried to build around him, it wasn't, okay, here's the solid wall, here's the drywall, here's the plaster. We're duct taping all of this shit together. Try to make it work. Because we don't got the money to get you what you need. I'd have hauled ass myself. I'm not mad at that. But what I mean is, if you had the pieces there, like, whatever you want to say about, you know, Draymond and all the people, Curry can be competitive for a long time. As long as Draymond stops choking motherfuckers. You know, as long as he...
That's what they got Draymond there for. You got to choke people sometimes.
Sometimes, you know, but... But like, that's what kills it for me. Like, and you know, that is something to be commendable when you stay your entire career with one squad, one coach, and one organization, and you're winning on top of that, definitely. But yeah, the whole Harden thing, like when he signed, like, how did you feel when he actually signed, to be honest? Like, when you saw on the ticker he's gonna be a Los Angeles Clipper, did you think they were actually gonna be productive?
No, I thought it was over for him. I thought what was going to happen was going to happen. Like, why would they do that?
Yeah. Like, why did, and you know, it's also bullshit. Remember when the Lakers almost had the
Chris Paul?
All Stars, and the league was like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, Chris Paul. Yeah, I was sick because we were so terrible around that time.
Mm-hmm.
This is before Powell got there. I believe this is before Powell Gasol got there, and we were so bad. We were struggling, and it was tough being a Lakers fan at that time, especially coming off of like Shaq being
Mm-hmm.
there, us winning, being so good, and Kobe's really trying out here
Yeah.
to take these bums and turn them to a squad. And I'm like, oh, Chris Paul's coming. It's about to be a whole different type of story now.
Mm-hmm.
A wrap.
And look what the league robbed us of. And you know, hindsight 2020, we were robbed of probably the best two-man duo in the West. I won't
Yeah.
say the whole game because the East, you know, we still had some squads there, but
Yeah.
Kobe and Paul on the same court,
Yeah.
that would have been magic every night. And I'll say that as a Spurs fan, would I wanted to play it? Absolutely not. That'd have been some bullshit, but I would have loved to see it. You know what I mean? Would have loved to see that.
Yeah.
And they never gave a good explanation why outside of we just don't want to.
Yeah, it's like that would be too good. I think
Mhm.
I think basically that's what they said without saying it. Like, no, that'd be too good. We can't let that happen.
Yeah. And then they approved a whole bunch of other trades. Like,
then you get Kevin Garnett playing with Ray Allen and Paul Pierce.
yeah,
That happened.
yeah. Like, so you said you're a Lakers fan. Are you you finally fed up with AD, or are you still holding out hope?
No, I'm fed up with AD. I'm not a big AD and I wasn't really a big Braun fan prior to him being with the Lakers, but you can't help but respect Braun's longevity and
Yeah.
what he's able to accomplish, especially at this juncture of his career, and he was able to help us get another
The
championship.
fact that he's still averaging 25 points a game
Yeah.
this late in his career, like, what I'm not even gonna bring up the stale Jordan or LeBron.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's always Jordan because that's the era I grew up in. But you can't tell a kid watching the league right now, no, it's Jordan when they did get to experience it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because
Exactly like the equivalent of somebody saying to me, like, "Oh, Jordan or Kobe ain't Magic Johnson." Like, I don't know.
yeah, right. I didn't like. I know Magic because he keeps showing up on TV buying motherfucking teams. Like that's I didn't see him play. Like I know him and Larry Bird dominated.
You can't be mad. You know, to your point, you can't be mad at a kid who don't know. You know what I mean? Jordan's that dude. Like he ain't seen. You don't know.
There's a whole generation who thinks Jordan's just a clothing brand.
Yeah.
And that's all he is. He's just a clothing brand at Nike, but they don't know.
Speak to how amazing of a player he was, that he transcended the sport. I always say like that's a true mark of a legend, is being able to transcend something. Like even pop music I've brought up on here before. It's like people who transcended their genre to the point where they have to be classified as something beyond that.
Yeah.
You know, like Drake is a pop artist. Even the king of pop himself is just an R&B singer who became so good at R&B singing that he turned into the king of pop.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But
I'll throw out
something.
And I'll throw out another one to you.
Who's that?
Snoop Dogg is making all the money that you can make off of his name.
Yeah.
This dude got cereal. He got his own strand of weed right now.
Bro.
He got.
He's on.
I can't even.
You can't watch a sporting event without seeing him on a commercial.
Yeah, and again, okay. Well, who is Snoop? Exactly.
Weed smoking Crip at that.
Like, on top of that, at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like literally, did you see? I don't know if you ever saw the clip where he was literally smoking right before the camera started.
Yeah.
Like, and no one batted an eye. Oh,
no
wait,
a
guy who smokes weed and he's known for this is smoking weed at the Super Bowl.
Smoke anywhere he wants.
Like, yeah.
Literally smoke anywhere. Like, people know if Snoop didn't smoke, that'd be weird. People be like, what the hell is he doing not smoking?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, cops want to see him smoke. Like, why are you not smoking, Snoop?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to say something to him for smoking. They'll probably say something to him for not smoking. Like, what the fuck is he?
Also, shout out to Snoop with his football camp. He actually had CJ Stroud go through his camp, who's doing a big.
Juju Smith-Schuster came through.
Yeah, so it's not even like a thing I'm just doing just for shits and giggles. He actually is putting people in the league.
You
You
put a
know,
lot of
like
people in the league, yeah.
yeah, CJ Stroud is dominated in the league right now.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it would be I think it would be I think he should be in the MVP conversation this year.
absolutely. They'll give it to Dak because we have to give it to Dak. But
I feel like
until Dak,
what he did with the Texans, though, bro, nobody expected the Texans to be they're playoff contenders right now.
And you know what? When we played them, obviously I was pissed. But at the end of the day,
Makes
I
you feel
couldn't
better,
be.
right? Makes you feel better that he looks.
Yeah, like yeah, it's the thing. Like, look, if I'm gonna get my ass beat, this dude needs to continue doing what he's doing. Like,
Right.
this can't just be like a one off. Like, if we lose, like heaven forbid, we lose tomorrow to Arizona. If Arizona don't win another game, but we lost to them, that's some bullshit.
Do you think Kenny Pickett is the quarterback of the future? Do you think that's our franchise? Yeah.
Let me put it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie contracts are 5 years now, right? If you franchise tag, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'll put it this way. We aren't going to cut him for that because he's basically cheap. This is the cheapest he'll ever be.
Oh, and he's the
regardless.
best that we have on our roster currently, yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna answer your question with somewhat of a back cheap shot to him. So we obviously can't get another quarterback right now. Cam Newton don't want to play no more, and every quarterback that's available is either on their way out the league or they're hoping to God someone gives them a call, which
Right.
to me is not saying he would be better than Pickett. Now I'll give him his due. Last week he looked like MVP. We only got 16 points, but hot damn if he wasn't throwing the rock around, right?
Yeah.
But I keep going back to his days at Pitt. He had one solid senior year, and everyone was like, hot damn, this dude is it.
Never mind the fact that he's 3 years older than everybody's playing with.
He should be dominated if you're the oldest in the room.
Yeah.
What I will say, though, to that is this offseason, we're losing Mason Rudolph again. He's not coming back. I wouldn't want him back either. If I was him, I wouldn't want to come back unless you're going to increase my pay to just be inactive third strainer. So we got to take a quarterback in this round. Now, am I saying draft a quarterback to replace Pickett? No. But what Kenny needs is if he wants to prove that he is worth, he needs someone to compete with him to keep his job. Right now, he's comfortable. He knows the team. When I put in
Mitch Trubisky or Mason Rudolph in.
Right. So if Jalen Daniels from LSU is there, I don't care what center we need. I don't care what tackle we need. We're taking Jalen Daniels. If I was Omar Khan. If Bo Nix is there, what's that?
Michael Penix.
Penix would be, I would love Penixburg. Bruh. Like that to me is the quarterback of quarterbacks. Like he proved it yesterday.
I cut you off though. You was about to say Bo Nix. I like Bo Nix too though.
Bo Nix is like them two yesterday, both of them equally. Yeah. Like if you saw how they did yesterday, they ran their offenses. Right now, we don't have a quarterback to get to my point. I feel runs the offense.
Right.
Like he doesn't know how to look at the coverages and know, okay, this is cover zero.
Yeah, he can't make reads. He can't. He doesn't look through his progressions either. He just follows receivers down.
Now, to his credit, did he have a motherfucker teaching him this shit? No. Matt Canada didn't know how to teach him.
It would have been nice if he could have spent a year under Big Ben.
That's what I mean. And I think also to the detriment of the team, they didn't know what to do with quarterback because they didn't know, is Ben coming back? Is Ben retiring? If we draft a quarterback, is he going to be pissed? Is it going to be an Aaron Rodgers situation again? So them not preparing the heir to the throne also hurt them because when he retired,
Ben was mad about them drafting Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
He was upset about that.
I remember that. And when we brought Mike Vick in to be a backup, why is Mike Vick here? Because he's Mike Vick.
Right. He's available and he's Mike Vick, bro.
Yeah. So I say all that to say,
that's a good point.
Actually, there's a group that I'm in on Facebook. It's Locked On Steelers. I not purposely, but I put some stuff that starts shit because to me, I right now don't see it. But what I always say that, and I compartmentalize it as, if he proves me wrong, shut me up, and
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
yeah, that's a
Go
good.
out and do what you did last week with Cincy. Do it this week with Arizona. Do it with New England. Keep showing, yeah, I'm QB1. Do I believe it's a long-term solution? Not with the quarterbacks about to come out.
Yeah,
Like if you look at across the board, there's quarterbacks I believe right now that
good.
can literally take his spot right now if
Good point.
they were given the spot. But I understand what we have
How
at the
you feel about
moment.
JJ McCarthy?
Who?
JJ McCarthy, quarterback from Michigan.
So here's the thing with me. I hate everything about Michigan. I'm
Oh man,
praying to God these motherfuckers lose tonight.
oh,
But
not
I
gonna
will
happen.
give I will give
That's not.
the
We're not.
quarterback their due. He is I'm surprised he's not in the MVP category himself. You
Yeah,
know, I think he should have been up there with beating Penn State and Ohio State 2
yeah,
years in a row.
yep,
That in the Big Ten, that is something that should get you into the conversation. You
yeah,
beat Ohio State in their house last year, and you
right,
handle business this year
yep, yeah.
without your head coach on top of that. Like you had the backup play caller in there. So what I'll put it this way. I had the same feeling when we drafted Devin Bush. Now Devin Bush proved not to be worth shit, but
Yeah.
at the time, I will say
Historically, though, Michigan
uh
players have worked out well for us.
that's a good question.
Historically speaking, they have. What's my man's name? God damn, the linebacker. Why can't I think of bro's name? But
How far?
Ryan Mundy was solid for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Mundy.
that's the thing. Player wise, they develop them good.
Yeah,
I just like
Big Ten players, especially defensive
yeah.
players. And stuff.
I should probably quantify this. I'm a Penn State person, so it's Penn State versus everybody. So anytime you talk about Big Ten, unless it's Wisconsin or Ohio State or not Ohio State, let me back that up. Uh, Michigan State. I Those are like my default Big Ten teams, but I'm the bitter
They're not
Penn State.
dangerous.
What's that?
They're not dangerous. Michigan is dangerous. We're dangerous.
Yeah, and what that's the thing. Like with me being Penn State, we can't be elite until we beat them, and I admit that. Like
You
I,
think they should hold on to Franklin?
I would say give him 2 more years. If he doesn't turn it around, we should shop.
You gotta beat, like you said, you gotta beat Ohio State. You gotta beat
And
Michigan.
that's
You
the thing
can't
that's
do it.
glaring. And even with the playoffs expanding next year to 12 teams, you still got to beat them at least once to get to a 11-1 or 10-2. Like you can't keep going 10-2 and hoping for a New Year's Six bowl every year.
Right.
Like you got to show that you can get over the hump.
But
And I
they did
know,
hire a new offensive coordinator. And he's
I
supposed to be really good. I can't remember
yeah,
his name. He came
yeah.
from Kansas.
I forget his name, but he's from Kansas. He runs air raid offense, which is why I think they brought him in to keep a lot of the people from transferring.
Yeah,
So he's really good with the air raid offense, which is what a lot of fans want for Penn State.
yeah.
But like I said, I'm of the accord. Franklin got 2 years to beat Michigan or Ohio State or both, and
You
then
give
we
him
got.
that much rope, 2 years. What if
I'm
next year?
giving
What if next year they sweep them again? Michigan and Ohio State both beat them.
If it happens next year, then yeah, I would be okay with them making some moves. I'm saying 2 years because Drew Aller needs 2 years with the new offensive coordinator to see if he's even going to be worthy of keeping the mantle, right?
Right,
So to me, this was Aller's first year as the starting quarterback to prove that he belongs in the Big Ten.
right.
He had 10 wins, but he lost to 2 games that you're going to be judged by. You lost to Michigan and you lost
The
to
only ones that matter.
well, yep, exactly. So, and what we're adding the 4 new teams to the conference, it's not just Michigan and Ohio State anymore. You got Oregon coming
UCLA,
in,
yeah,
you got
USC.
USC,
Oh man, forget
you
about it.
know. So, like I said, you to get to 10 or 11 wins in the Big Ten next year is not going to be an easy feat.
No, no,
But if
no.
you want to be able to solidify a playoff spot, you have to beat Michigan or Ohio State. And the fact that we haven't been able to do either the last 2 years to me are Hall of Victories that we get a New Year's Six bowl
Yeah,
because we should be higher, especially with the talent we had this year. our defense was set up to beat the Georgias or beat the Washingtons or beat whoever in the playoff. The
Yeah.
fact that they aren't going to get the chance to show that, to me, it's a hall of victory, whoever we end up beating or even playing, you know?
You think Alabama gets into the playoffs now that they beat Georgia?
So that's where it gets interesting.
Oh,
So if Michigan wins tonight, I actually don't see an SEC team getting it because you'll
really?
have, yeah, because look
You
at
don't
it.
believe
You
I have
have,
any bias that the
well,
that
this is
committee
what I
has?
mean. So you'll have, if Michigan wins tonight, like I don't know what the score is right now.
Yeah.
You have Michigan playing right now. You got Washington that won out. You have uh Florida State playing right now.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have 3 Power 5 conferences that won their title game and undefeated. So those 3 spots are locked. So you have Michigan, uh, Florida State, and Washington
10-0.
already locked. I actually would see Texas get in the final spot because they beat Alabama early in the year and they didn't lose any close games that they weren't supposed to beat. So I can actually see an SEC team not making it. Now, in that regard, I wouldn't be shocked if they put Alabama in, but I think it would be literally too close to the end for them to get in just because they beat Georgia.
Right.
But I wouldn't be shocked because I still don't know how Penn State didn't get an offer to go when we won the Big Ten title a few years ago.
True.
That
Yeah.
still doesn't compute to me. Like we won the Big Ten title, we were in the game, we beat Ohio State to get into it, but he still gave it to Ohio State. Like I said, I'm bitter with a lot of this. So
Yeah, they got a lot
um,
of bias, and Ohio State's one of those teams, just like Alabama's one of those teams. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if we see them leapfrog somebody now. But
yeah.
it's going to be hard to leapfrog Texas, because Texas got that big win.
Texas got the
Uh,
tiebreaker,
yeah.
and they devoured Oklahoma State
Oh
today
my
on
God.
top of that.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Like
did.
it would be different if it was like 39-38 and they squeaked it out.
Yeah. They
Like
beat them
you
very
showed you were
impressively.
dominant in the game that you're supposed to. So my hope the committee takes into the account. But again, I understand ratings also matter. So again, Alabama getting the pass as a one-loss team because they beat Georgia. On paper, that's going to bring eyeballs. So
Oh,
again, I wouldn't be shocked, but if I had to put money on it, I would be more to the side. If all the teams that are supposed to win tonight end up winning, we have an SEC less playoff for the first time this has started. So
that'll be fun actually.
yeah,
I think
because
that'll
that also shows you the strength of the other conferences, right?
be great.
So Michigan running the table in the Big Ten, Washington winning out of the Pac-12. That shows those conferences are stronger than SEC, who couldn't even put out an undefeated team.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that to me, I think will hold a lot of weight this year. But again, I've been wrong in the past. So we'll see what happens with
We
that.
don't know what the hell the committee wants to do.
No, the committee wants people to watch. Now,
Right.
I hope after last year they learned their lesson because TCU should have
Oh
been there.
man, no.
Like that's I'm
They
really
beat,
hoping.
they beat us in a I don't know how the hell that happened.
I honestly I don't know either.
Uh,
Like I couldn't even be happy about it because I was like more bewildered. Like, why is this
Especially
game
in
like
a lower quality championship game now. Like
yeah,
Michigan Georgia would have been good.
yeah. And that's the thing too with like college sports. As much as I don't like Michigan, I do like the competition.
Right.
So like Michigan and Ohio State, I tune in because I know the competition's going to be there.
Right.
Like you don't get those 59-6 blowouts like you would with other big games. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I hope they learned their lesson last year and they do factor a lot of that in because there's still people arguing that Oregon should get a spot because their 2 losses were against
Quality.
yeah. So who knows what'll happen? I'll be excited to see, but again, I'm not going to be upset if Alabama gets a pass, but I don't see it either.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Well, damn, man, I appreciate you joining us tonight. You gave us some great conversation. You definitely gave us a walk through your journey.
Thank you, man.
Um,
Anytime I get to talk about nerd shit, sports, and music all in one time, I'm a happy guy. So I appreciate you coming on here, man, for real.
Hell yeah. Tell the people how to get a hold of you one more time.
Yeah, man. So I am on Instagram and TikTok and my YouTube. It's at Mind of AK, MINDOFAK. You can follow me there. My email was on the ticker before, but if you need it again, it's mindofak@gmail.com. Feel free to hit me up. My YouTube, again, it's youtube.com/c/mindofak. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I try to have something on there for everybody. Like I do tutorials. I'm going to start to do like once a month, sharing one of my stories out for people to listen to. I'm going to start that in January. My website will also be up. I'm taking 2024, not to do New Year, New Me, but New Year, Now See Me. That's my whole vibe in 2024. So my website will be up with a lot of my artwork and stories on there. I will try to get merch out for people who want to support that way too. I don't have anything yet. This is literally like a tester I got. But yeah, like I said, there's ways to rock with me, and any support anyone gets, I definitely appreciate it. Like I said, I was a fan before I came on. I'm a bigger fan after talking to you, bro.
Yeah, man, it was good.
Absolutely, man. Oh, I had a lot of fun. I wish I could be there in person. So I'll end with this. I was actually supposed to be in studio today. So shout out to, you and the team. I hit him up yesterday. I was like, hey, I am 2 hours away from you, and I don't know if my car will make it. He could have said, oh, well, never mind then. He was like, no, we'll find a way. And he hit me up this morning after I talked to him. It's like, no, we'll just do it this way. I'm like, bro, that's a solid. Because
and I think it made it better too because you had all your artwork in hand too.
Yeah, man.
It's a little bit different, so I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
You joining us in this way and you sharing your work with us.
I appreciate it. And like I said, one thing I'll leave with people, if there's anyone that was listening to this that was feeling somewhat motivated with my story, I don't share my story to gloat or try to be braggadocious. I share it because I know there's people out there that are like me, that they feel lost or they don't feel a connection or they don't feel like there's a place for them. If you feel like that, do what I did and make your own. That's your job, is to find your own lane, find your own piece of, happy, whatever you want that to be, and make it. Mine ends up being creating a lot of weird shit to have in my house that when Jehovah's Witness people come over, they feel like, oh, I'm going to get extra credit today. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I am. But, always also believe in yourself on top of that. The only person that can ensure that you lose if you make yourself lose, trying something.
The biggest obstacle for sure.
Exactly. And that's for anything. That's, you want that new job, go put yourself out there. If you want the new car, make the steps to go get the new car. If you want the new house, the new living situation, there's a whole lot of ways to get it. As the song went that Jay-Z said, I got a million ways to get it. Choose one. Find your way and put the energy into it. Like the dude on the podcast, he's a prime example of it. Like I said, I talk about his music often, not just because I'm on the show. I'm a legit fan. And, like I said, if anything to take away from it, he's a prime example of that you guys get every week with this podcast, which I love. I have been listening to it, buddy. So
I appreciate you.
Definitely, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. Well, thanks for joining us. Been another episode of Marley State of Mind down here at a Bunch of Bull Studios. We're here with you every Saturday, 8 o'clock, different guests, always a good vibe. Hey, we appreciate you, Aki. Be good, bro.
Absolutely, bro.